Yo, what's up, man, everybody? This is the holiday edition of For the Culture Live podcast. Here with your host, Nick Alexander here, comedian Nick Alexander, that is. Ty is out of town. He's in Miami with his family and whatnot. So I had a friend of the show come and fill in for him today. Um,
Oh yeah, dog.
Cornbread Kitchen alumni,
How much?
director, fellow New York nigga, fuck nigga as well. Give it up for brother Tarik Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold up. Hold on. Let's clear some things up. First off, how am I cornbread alumni if I'm still in the group?
Oh yeah, that's true. I forget alumni. It means it's past tense.
Yeah, I mean you don't move on.
Correction. My cornbread kitchen mate or kitchen night, whatever.
Yeah, we
Kitchen
in that
cook,
thing
kitchen cook.
together.
We in this thing together. Welcome to the show,
Oh,
brother.
thank you, brother. And perform fuck. I don't think I'm a fuck nigga. Fuck niggas is like
Fuck-
that's whole nigga shit.
Recovering a whole nigga shit. Which one you some
I
you
do
in the
not-
middle.
I do bitch nigga shit from
All
time
right,
to
bitch
time.
nigga. All right, petty
But
nigga,
like-
sensitive nigga shit.
I don't even want to say sensitive nigga shit.
I don't want to demean you in cuss words, so I just he's a
Fuck nigga
sometimey
is-
ass nigga. Then
Fuck nigga is two curse words.
You're right. So all right, I'll upgrade you to sometimey ass nigga.
Every nigga got some whole nigga tendencies.
Do we?
Yes.
I don't know.
That's the whole thing of manhood. It's like I don't care if you're like.
Is it whole nigga tendencies or is it just mistakes on the journey along the journey?
No, because a lot of times niggas do fuck shit on purpose. Like that time when Ty was looking for you at the was looking for us at that show, and you put your phone in airplane mode when you should have just kept it on.
my phone was dying.
It wasn't. You had like 37%.
No, I was like at 10%. That's why I put it on airplane mode
It
because
was
I
enough
literally was
time
running
for
out
you-
of battery.
Or you could at least let me know that you was doing that, so I could have texted and be like, "Yo, this is where we at."
I didn't know that. That's a mistake. That's not a more me
Alright, that's-
doing
alright,
that
that's not a
to
mistake.
spite Ty.
You know
I
what?
didn't do it on purpose. Like, oh, you're not here. Oh,
That was a bad
you missing
example
the
of you
show.
spiting some shit, but I know you've done some spiteful shit.
Have
Like-
I? Yes.
Yes, you have. Every nigga does. Whole nigga shit is rampant.
All right. So sometime you hoe ass nigga. Let's settle on that. Anyways, thanks for
The
coming
reason
through.
why you can't avoid whole nigga shit is because everybody has one thing that makes them comfortable that pisses everybody else the fuck off.
Yeah, we just have ways about us.
And you are so proud of that one thing that pisses everybody else off that you'll do it knowing it pisses everybody off. And the fact of doing it
Yeah.
is the whole nigga shit.
All right, you got me. I came around.
If you've ever hit a girl back, knowing she got a boyfriend and you don't fuck with her no more, you're not thinking about that as a nigga, so it's whole nigga shit. But you thinking, huh?
I won't relate to that one, but you sold me. I'm on board with the whole nigga movement. I have been a part of the club. I have I had a 1 month subscription. Anyway, man, what's good with you, man? What's been cracking?
Oh man,
I'm acting like I just ain't see you. Like
we've been together for the past 12 hours.
we've been
man.
hanging out.
You know what's cracking? The only thing I want to talk about is Eddie on SNL.
All right. So the two major things today. We want to talk about Eddie and his return to SNL, and then we want to get into it's Christmas time. So I wanted to think about let's talk about our favorite holiday movies. Maybe we can't rank them, but we could just at least put some out there and see where we at because I felt like it's been a minute since we've gotten some Christmas classics. And one thing you could bank on is in the month of November, December, you're always gonna get new holiday movies. You're always gonna get maybe different shows or whatever. So just what in the standouts, like we could just talk about what comes to mind. But I think above all things, we will start off with last night, Saturday evening, Eddie Murphy, the legend, the king. Any one title you want to give him. He came back to host SNL. His first time hosting in over 35 years.
35 years.
The last time he hosted SNL period was a Christmas show he did in '84. I mean he did every sketch he was in. He did about 7 sketches altogether, and his monologue. So Eddie was there. There was no like moments where you didn't see Eddie, which I was very happy to see. We and Reek had the pleasure of going to a friend of ours, Meg, fellow Cornbread Kitchen cook. She had a nice little viewing party, and when you talk about people in any generation about watching SNL, that is usually the memories that they have growing up is watching it with their friends, whether in like high school, their kids watching it with their parents, maybe college even, you still watching it with your other fellow students or whatever like that. They get together, they huddle up in their room and watch SNL, and that spirit was there last night watching Eddie.
Well, because you kind of realize, and I'm glad we watched it live because initially, I watch SNL every Sunday morning if I get a chance to. You get what I'm saying? Or
Okay.
later that night. But it's like it's off the rewatch of Hulu, so like stuff is edited down to like fit it a little bit better than like the liveness of it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I can't remember the last time I watched it live. I did it in New York a few years
Was
ago.
it
I watched
Chappelle,
live.
Louis, Chris
No,
Rock?
it wasn't Chappelle or Louis. It It was The Rock. I watched
The
The Rock
Rock.
live.
Oh, okay.
So
How was that one?
It was dope. It was a great episode.
Yeah, Rock was good. I remember when I remember the first time The Rock did it in 2000 when he was like
Yeah, he's in the
superstar.
5-time hosting club. So
Oh, okay.
He's
So he's
hosted,
done. All right.
Yeah, they give you like if you've hosted more than 5 times, they give you like this jacket. And,
Oh,
like,
dope.
usually Tom Hanks will show up because he's hosted a bunch of times.
Yeah, he's him and Baldwin, right? They're
Yeah,
like,
I think the ties between Baldwin and Steve Martin, but I think Hanks is up there now though.
yeah. So, but anyways, you
But
were
yeah,
saying
I was
just
saying
watching it live, right?
that was the first time I've ever watched it with a lot of black people who was very excited and just like a lot like
Where
'cause
black people is very key.
We do miss the communal element of what SNL was because that's what made it pop when it first came out. It was in the 70s, like it was live comedy.
Yeah.
It felt edgy.
Yeah.
And I think probably after Eddie left, that's probably when it started getting to the point where it was like you either in middle school or old was like the major demographic of SNL. Because like once you
After
get to
the
high
Eddie
school,
era, yeah.
Yeah, because like I feel like
Late 80s.
but I think that's probably when the fan base became a thing, which is crazy because the show had been on for like 10 years.
Right.
So to think like 10 years in, the show switches over what the initial thing was.
Yeah, it had a complete turnaround. I mean, after Eddie, they were scrambling for a couple of years, and the late '80s cast was pretty good. That was what Phil Hartman, Dana Carvey,
John Lovitz.
Lovitz.
That led into the Sandler and Chris Rock and
'90s Schneider, Spade, Farley, Kevin Nealon a little bit.
Yeah, Nealon was a tweener.
Tim Meadows.
Yeah, he was a tweener. Tim Meadows came a little bit later.
But that was a great wave too. That early '90s. I mean, they had good waves.
No, it's not about the waves. It's about the viewing.
No, the demo.
Yeah, because
black
the thing
people
is,
watched SNL, the Garrett Morris years, even, and then Eddie, and then that was it. Black people kind of like left.
Yeah, definitely black people for sure. I'm even thinking about like, because we were talking about the communal aspect of it.
Right,
and I know
right.
communally, definitely kids in college back in the 90s, like Bill Simmons always talks about that.
Yeah.
When I was in college, it wasn't a bunch of us doing that. But I also went to a black college.
Yeah, niggas wasn't watching it.
But middle school kids love it because like they don't go out Saturday nights, but then you get to high school, you can
stay up late on Saturday night. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Your curfew as a kid, by the time you're 12, 13, 14, you could stay up late on a Saturday night, but yeah, you can't really go out doing shit. So that's why middle school usually is when you like, I say 8, 9, or it's even maybe 8, 7, 8 to like the 14, 15, you're like drenched in SNL.
And I think, because like, as an SNL fan, I feel like I see a lot of hate in places like, who's still watching that show? I haven't watched it in forever. And it's because the show's cool, but you definitely outgrown the use of it because when you're at the age we're at now, unless you're in comedy and like a huge fan, your Saturday night, you're going to be out.
Yeah, you ain't trying to sit down and watch SNL. And that's, like I said, the demo's always been usually middle-aged, old to older folks. Like
in middle school and
middle
like
schools.
elementary. Well,
Yeah.
I don't have to say elementary, but middle school for sure.
Yeah, because you can grasp comedy.
But yeah, this was a full room of millennial blacks.
Yeah, late 20s, early 30s.
A lot of not comedians, but like comedic people, like people who do improv, stand up, who write comedy, who act, who direct.
Yeah.
Very strong
Artists. Yeah, black artists. Yeah.
Definitely a very strong, I think, audience that would care about this, I would say.
For sure. Yeah, we did care.
That's the other thing, too, is-
Eddie was everything. So like if you're black and under the whatever from, I mean, Eddie spanned so many generations. So yeah, we didn't even grow up in the Eddie era. We just know about it. We looked it up. You know, we found the tapes and watched the best of, and you just know that he was brilliant at SNL, or your moms and dad told you all about how he was the shit in high school because that's what they watched. So it was just like we had some kind of idea and understanding of how important it was that Eddie came back and hosted. You know,
Yeah,
because so much sketches happened since he left.
And being able to watch a full episode in it, because I think that has something to do with it as well.
Attention span, yeah.
The attention span. It just seeing like how the whole show flows. Because like, yeah, like when you just seeing like a few of the Eddie sketches that was out back then, you're like, oh, this is really good. Like I think my favorite Eddie sketch that I've seen from back in the day is, you probably seen this, Nick. It was a video sketch where he was like white for a day.
Oh yeah, learning how to be white and what the difference is. Yeah, that was it's still a great, just brilliant sketch when you watch it. Like I was showing it to my girl this morning, and even though like she didn't crack about it, she did like the things that she saw, because some of the stuff, you know, it is you can't some of the stuff is dated in a sense, or it's just a different time. So yeah, it's not gonna get you the way it got those people, but you can still see the greatness of it.
Yeah, the concept is still a brilliant concept. Like somebody could do that bit today and they can still rock you if you never knew it existed.
But you see the origin of it. I mean, yeah, that was a brilliant sketch.
So in like, he had his old writers, so I feel like they gave him that The essence, because like when I was watching, I was like, "Dad, if you had to write it, you either had to study with these, because they really the voice of Gumby was so clear, so what you're used to hearing from Gumby from back in the day was just kind of like either they studied the hell out of these sketches, or you had the original cats in it, and we saw the credits.
Yeah, we saw. I caught a couple of names. Usually guys who I know for sure who were in Eddie's camp for people who might care. David Blaustein, Barry Blaustein, and David Sheffield. Like they wrote Nutty Professor with him, Boomerang.
They
I
did.
think Trading Places,
I
maybe
think Coming to America too.
Coming to America.
Those
yeah,
are his
Coming to
SNL writers.
Those are the SNL guys. So and maybe a couple more names, but like I know for sure I saw those two names and some more other different names on different sketches or whatever. But like the names was just they pulled out some big guns.
Nah, they did. They did. They put out some big guns, and I think while we were watching, you pointed out, I was like, "Yo, Larry David made through him a sketch." I was like,
You never know. He might have
never
been
know.
just to consult, just to fucking be a brain in the room. Like they wanted
"Yeah, just to
everybody's
hear
mind
like a
in there.
punch." Yeah, because I'm like, I was like, if that's the case, Chris and Dave.
Might maybe maybe they spent the day in there
Yeah.
workshopping.
They're like,
You
"Oh,
never
is
know.
this?" You
That's
do
the thing.
never know.
We got friends in who work, and we have people who we know who work there, and it's like, that process of how that show comes together. It's still amazing, even if you feel like this show ain't what the last generation was, and that generation ain't what the last generation was. The process of putting together the kind of show SNL does is still the hardest thing that's out there.
And that's why,
You still gotta respect
yeah,
it.
you gotta respect it. And that's why I always say, like, yeah, you gotta watch it knowing that they're doing this all within the course of a week.
A week.
And like usually, like I always tell people this. Usually, like on a really good show, 2 to 3, possibly 4 sketches that you definitely gonna laugh at.
Yeah.
On a so-so show, maybe like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And then like something that's really interesting. That's like, oh, one more draft for that if they had a little bit more time.
Yeah.
But it's also the idea that like, yo, there's a lot of moving pieces. The fact
sure.
the host. That's the stuff that bugs me out the most. That the host goes from like one live sketch in complete costume to another live sketch in complete costume. And before they were doing video stuff, they were just doing straight up,
Rewrites.
not even rewrites, just like live sketch.
Oh, they
here,
were run-throughs.
live sketch here. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
the same character is in it. So I'm like, even now, I'm just like, how do you get from one set to the next seamlessly with your costume changes and makeup and all of that?
Yeah, he didn't do that much makeup. Everything was wig influenced because like I noticed with Gumby, like when you watch the old Gumby used to have the green paint on his face.
Yeah.
That's why I looked a little weird when I was watching him do Gumby, but that's because they just didn't want to put too much makeup on him
Because he was in a lot of stuff.
in a lot of wigs. So it's easier if we can just put him in something in a costume.
I want to say, I think Lauren may have changed the rule too. He has like low makeup.
Really?
Yeah,
It's not
'cause-
as extensive as it used to be.
Yeah. Have you ever watched any of the documentaries they done on SNL?
No.
So they did. There's 2 of them that's really good. It's like one that I think Biography did back in like the late '90s, early
Okay.
2000s, and then there's one that James Franco did. Who's that knocking?
Construction.
Oh, there was one that James Franco did. The one that came out, the Biography did. It was like when Dean Edwards was in the class, and he did he had a Michael Jackson sketch that he was trying to get on. It was at the time when like he really wasn't getting a lot of burn.
Right.
And he did like a spot on mic impersonation, and the makeup looked so realistic, and it was really funny. And Lauren asked it because he was like, "It looks too close to the person. We always gotta have a differentiator."
It gotta look a little silly.
Yeah, it's gotta look a little silly.
Who is it? We
this
can't help.
is
Sorry
silly,
for the
yeah.
knock, though. We can't help who's doing work while we record.
But yeah,
yeah.
I think the makeup is like a thing with the show.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. I just, yeah, I think people just like always remember the SNL, man. They literally Monday is what, pitch day? Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday.
Tuesday they start the writing.
Tuesday they start writing. Wednesday rewrite. Thursday they kind of start picking the ones
That's when
looking
they start
good.
putting it up. Yeah.
Friday they'll tape something maybe.
They'll tape the video sketches,
Friday, right?
and then they're rehearsing.
And then
Rehearsing
all
Thursday,
day
Friday,
Saturday.
and Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that Eddie still had to go do promo while working, while creating rehearsal. So Eddie that's the most exhausting week of your life when you're committed to hosting that show. And so you got to think about just how these artists and these writers, the actors and comedians, everybody who works on that show, week in week out for at least 20 plus episodes a year.
Yeah.
It's hard to do,
It's
man.
hard to do. And they've been doing it for so long, and it's still a staple of the country.
It still is, yeah.
Like, if you're a big enough star and you got a movie coming out, like, you best believe you want to do, or if you're a big enough musician, like, I feel like, especially with rappers, rappers have made it to mainstream when they get an SNL performance.
Yeah, the baby crossed over. I think that's still one of your key pivotal crossed over things you can do.
Yeah. 'Cause,
The baby doing it a couple weeks ago had a great live performance. Lizzo, I mean, this is a big year for her, and she killed it. I thought she had two great performances.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, both of her performances were great. What'd you think of the ass moment?
I thought I knew it was coming, so I was ready for the ass cheeks. I was ready for them cheeks, man. She put a little see-through on. She didn't do thong. She didn't go Laker game thong out riding up the ass crack, but she definitely was gonna show some cheeks, and it was cool. I mean,
She
it
was
was
definitely.
it was she was on Lizzo brand. You know, she was gonna represent the thick girls. She had thick
How do
background
you feel
dancers
about the? Well, I was down for the background dancers and the thick girls. I didn't like the Laker thing.
because of what?
I just think it's weird for anybody to have their ass cheeks out at a Laker game.
Nah, girls be having their ass out all the time, but she showed it. That was the difference. She showed her ass.
I don't think I've ever seen a girl at the Laker game with that. Like she had the ass with chaps. There's one thing if you got like a low skirt or like the low cut shorts.
Right.
She went out her way to with ass with chaps. Where I'm just kind of like, that's some shit Prince used to do at like performances. Like,
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a Minnesota thing. You know, who knows?
I mean, she could have been trying to honor. I just thought it was odd. I was just kind
Yeah.
of like, yeah.
I,
When I was against, because I saw a lot of people talking about like
I
they
remember-
don't want to see it.
but
because of how-
Madonna used to do a bunch of like.
But Madonna never did nothing like that at a all pop stars who are sexual beings. They
They
do
never do it
something
at the
like
Laker
that.
game?
They do it on stage, or they do it like red carpet stuff, or like at parties, places. They wouldn't like. I don't think Madonna would show it to a Laker game with the cheeks out. You get what I'm
I
saying?
think she probably did. She didn't show it during the kiss cam though. That's the difference.
I think at any point in time, like, I don't think because it's just a weird place to try to make a statement. Like LeBron is over here trying to compete.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing. I was like, so LeBron is at work trying to work, and you trying to take away attention with your cheeks.
She's trying to make her play for Carl Anthony Towns. You know, I see you. You know, that's him.
She did do that. Okay,
did.
maybe that could have been it.
That was a little
Maybe that was
flirty.
it.
You know,
If that was it, I may respect it more.
she went after Towns. She was shooting a shot.
I saw her shoot her shot, but then with her shooting her shot in like where she's like, oh, I'm just here to check out number 32. Is that who he is? And he's playing for Minnesota. I'm like, all of that makes sense, and I think she would have had a good chance of shooting that shot. And that was just showing her face. You get what I'm saying? Like the cheeks, I think was just weird. Like if Rihanna would have came and did that shot, I'd be like, Rihanna, you tripping?
But you still would have enjoyed it though.
Nah, it would have
Really? Even Rihanna showing it.
Yeah,
showing
we
it-
was talking
okay.
about that a little bit. They was like, you would not be saying that if it was Rihanna. I was like, I would because it's just a weird. That's not. It's
a time and place for everything.
Yeah, and like
Cover up. I get it. Hide your mom. Hide your wife. Hide your kids.
not even hide your wife, hide your kids. It's just like if I'm at a sporting event, the last thing I want to be thinking about is this girl's cheeks on the seat that other people sit on.
Yeah, that was somebody brought that up too because all the OCD people like, man, I gotta spray the seat down and wipe it because Lizzo's ass cheeks been all over it. So
It's just a weird
it triggers
place.
a lot of emotions. So Lizzo, you know, can salute again. You
Lizzo,
killed
keep
it.
showing off some cheeks in appropriate places. Please.
Yeah, just no more SNL performances with cheeks and
No,
Laker
SNL
games.
performance was good. That's a place.
No more basketball games.
No
with
more
cheeks
basketball
out.
getting cheeks out.
Okay.
No more basketball
we can
games
compromise on
cheeks
that. Okay, so let's get into what you actually thought of the sketches and his performance. Biasness, fandom aside, how does Reek, the viewer, really like? What did you really like get out of the sketches? How did they do? How did they hold up for you?
I think the sketches were fantastic.
Okay.
Like I was rewatching some of them today and still laughing. Like
From a critic standpoint or just on a fan standpoint?
both.
Okay.
Critically, because the thing is, all right. So like, if you want to go sketch to sketch, the Mr. Rogers is probably the best written sketch because it
I
brought
agree.
back his original character
Yeah.
and he updated it with gentrification and he found ways to make it continually funny.
For how his character always
right.
worked.
As
Yeah.
it like the way it was written and like with him playing the character. Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, the holiday sketch maybe because that was also kind of like that was kind of a little on the original side. Even though they've done that type of sketch before,
But it was,
like,
original. As far as like you never seen him do that character or anything. He was just acting.
yeah, he was
and-
just acting in it, and it was like I think it was a pretty true statement where like families get together
Yeah.
and they're like trying to keep it together, but
Yeah.
they really are struggling.
Yeah, that was really funny. To
That
me.
was the theme of
Favorite
that
of mine.
a lot video that 21 did with J. Cole. So I thought that was cool to see that.
Okay.
Then the cooking one, the cake one, that's a sketch that wouldn't have been as funny if it wasn't Eddie playing that role, and if they didn't write it for Eddie to kind of like react.
Yeah.
Because the thing what they did, the strategy they did, every sketch Eddie was in, he was it. Like they will use, he was the funny in every sketch. There was never a sketch where he was supporting somebody else's, and I think I don't see any
make the
host
host
really
do that
get that.
sometimes.
Nah, because it's like, because the thing about SNL is that you gotta, you all definitely make sure that the host can shine, but you still let the Kate McKinnon get their shit off. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right, but that's because usually most hosts don't do all this every sketch, right? When they host.
and if they do, yeah, most
don't
of them
do
will
every
do every
sketch.
single sketch, and
Right.
a lot of times they're playing like smaller roles in other sketches. While in this one, Eddie was the main attraction in every sketch.
Pretty
where it was
much.
like, Cause like cause like Megan pointed out, she was like, Mr. Rogers was a monologue. I was like, yeah, that's kind of how it was before. Then you kind of have
Oh, you broke it down, Meg. You
just
talk,
this is Mr. Rogers one, but then even if you look at the cake joint, he had the like in the math of that sketch, he had the ugliest cake, which is usually like the funny part.
Right.
But they gave him the role that was written to be the one, and everyone else had like light work to do, like they had like
Yeah.
a joke or two, but they had to keep coming back to that cake throwing up and devil talk and everything like that.
Yep.
The family one, that was pretty spread out because they showed everybody shit. So, but he was still the focal point
Head
of the
of the
sketch
table.
because he's the head of the table.
Yeah.
And he's doing a prayer, but everyone got to rock off of that one. If you look at the Buckwheat joint, the Masked Singer, and if that was a different host, you would have gotten different people doing the Masked Singer.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a Buckwheat sketch. Basically, he came out and revealed himself, and then they just kept doing jokes off of Buckwheat winning. It wasn't no other Masked Singers.
Yeah, I thought it would have been and I guess just looking back, I thought a better move would have been to have it be a surprise, like they guessed it wrong and then it happened to be Buckwheat. I felt like them saying Buckwheat kind of like took the air out of it a little bit. That was maybe a mistake.
I think they were trying to get to show Buckwheat as soon as possible.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. 'Cause that's the whole thing of the Masked Singer thing, where it's just kind of like,
Right. You can't be right too, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
yeah, that's an interesting debatable sketch because I'm like, did they make the right decision on it? Yes
Right.
or no? And I don't think either decision is wrong because like we definitely still laughed and like it's one of my favorite sketches of the night.
Oh, really? That was actually lower for me, the Buckwheat one.
Yeah, Austin said that yesterday too. But what I liked about it was like his voice as Buckwheat. I forgot how funny it is.
Yeah.
Cause like you didn't see him, you just heard him, and I'm like, oh no, he.
Looking putting up in
all the brown faces.
Look, yeah, I mean,
But the other thing too, the thing with that Eddie gives you in these opportunities is that like, if the sketch isn't written well or if
He
it's a
can
little off
save
the
it. He
rails,
can
he
save
can
it.
save it.
he
in a way
saved it
that's
because when he
legit
did
funny.
the Feliz Navidad part, and Feliz
Feliz
Navidad, and
Navidad.
then he sang the other part the way it's supposed to really be sang, which is a twist. Like at the end, Los Feros Años Felices, and he sang it the right way, and then that was like a little like,
Yeah.
but he saves that. He knows how to save a sketch.
Yeah.
The only dud is actually the one that they cut. Like I saw the cut sketch, and that was the only bad one that where just even he didn't save it really, and it just I'm like that was smart that they didn't show that one.
I wonder. I feel like he used to get criticized for Buckwheat. Like I think watching this, I'm like, I can't see how the NAACP wasn't down his throats back in the day doing that Buckwheat.
No, I love, but Buckwheat was actually something that turned him off. He had to kill Buckwheat because Buckwheat became such a thing. Like everywhere he went, it was like Buckwheat. Like he used to have a bit talk about how they just wanted him to do Buckwheat or that they didn't think he was anything else but Buckwheat. So he had to like it almost got so annoying, like in that Dynamite kind of way, that he had to kill the character.
In the sketch, I remember the sketch. Buckwheat, who killed him? Yeah,
who killed Buckwheat? So like that was like a whole thing. So.
Actually, I think that made
that was
probably
more of a daunting thing for him to say, all right, fine, I'll do Buckwheat because I know people kind of would want to see it.
But that's the thing about a character like Buckwheat, where it's like when Buckwheat existed in the Little Rascals, the NAACP didn't like the depiction of like, young black
he
boys.
fucking flipped it.
He flipped it, but at the same time, he still got the fucked up hair. He still got the fucked up way of talking. So it's like I can see Eddie at that age as being kind of like if like everywhere you go, all these white people Buckwheat. And he just, Eddie's a distinguished nigga. He's just a distinguished black man, so he don't
mind you laughing, but but they were just in mania over the Buckwheat. It's just there's always like a little subtle underlying thing of okay, like black people aren't really like this. Like just because I'm sounding this and the things around Buckwheat's character. So he had to make a choice. He was a young dude when Buckwheat was popping, when he was popping. So it's just like a lot of feelings you have when you're 21 and 22 and you're establishing yourself, but then people just want to hold you to this one character that you do that is a portrayal of an ignorant, fun-loving black kid.
If I got the chance to interview Eddie and talk to him about this, that'd be the one Negro soul question I'd ask. Be like, so how'd you feel about, and why'd you want to bring back Buckwheats now?
That's how you be with your scarf on.
Right, with the scarf around my neck. So why'd you want to do the Buckwheat? Because I feel like it really made me laugh. It was just a natural, like, oh my God, this shit is just stupid.
It was cool. That thing he had no sketches that were just like, this is trash. There was no like, I didn't feel that. I just felt like, this was lower than the other one. And that one in Velvet Jones, I felt like, but I think Velvet Jones started slow and he kind of flubbed line, but that happens with anybody. And he did 6 fucking sketches live, so it's like you got to cut him some slack. But Velvet Jones picked up steam as it got later because I think what happened was, and I was watching the reactions of the people who were watching with us. The Velvet Jones character is like so misogynistic.
Yeah, that's
like,
a real
the
throwback.
times where it's like, oh shit, like this man used to have a recurrent sketch about telling women how to be a hoe and be independent or whatever. And it's like the time we're in is just like people are not doing those kind of sketches. So I think the audience wasn't ready to just hear about hoes and women being hoes again.
Well, that was and that
But
was
then when the flip with the make it the Instagram hoe was great. Like that got a big applause rate because he won him back. Where it's just like, oh yeah, this is what's driving the culture, which is some real black shit. Which is what I dug about the Black Jeopardy sketch, which is why it kind of like some people put it lower because of how it was the first couple of beats, but the way they closed it in the end, it picked up steam.
Yeah, I think that was, we talked about that one where it was just like was it the performances of it or was it the way it was written? Like some of the beats at the beginning just didn't hit.
Right, because it was just like, oh shit, like what women hoe, how to be a hoe? Like this isn't.
But he gone?
Yeah, I just think people were getting dumbfounded by that. Like I saw a reaction on one white girl's face who was there, and she was just like,
and the other thing
I could see the white tenseness just in the room, just feel it. I could just sucking it up the whole misogyny and Me Too. I just felt like all that energy coming off of his first few punchlines, and then when the Instagram hoe joke came about, and it kind of like shut it down, and it was like, all right, it was like, woo,
we dodged the bullet.
Yeah, right. But I think it was good. I just think Velvet, definitely is a little outdated, but they found a smart way to bring him in, and then he pulled it off. But what were you gonna say?
Now I was gonna say I think we're just not used to seeing that rawness on SNL.
Yeah,
like that audience ain't used for that. Like I feel like the viewers ain't used to it, and I kind of was fucking with it.
But it was edge.
It was edge.
That's the thing. When you haven't had edge in so long,
it was refreshing.
It was refreshing edge.
And I think that's probably the problem. The reason why I think they get doo-dooed on so much amongst some of our peers.
They were playing it safe for a minute.
They've been playing it safe for a minute outside of the political stuff. And I think it's
even political stuff now. They're not really doing bows now.
Well, no, the problem with it is that the actual politics is so ridiculous.
Right. It's not even
that what SNL is doing is like they basically like being spot on with a lot of stuff they're talking about, but it's just kind of like
it writes itself, so it don't really have which is like good for them that they can tweak it and always get some good political shit out. But it's also like politics is such a joke now. It's like it's really like writing itself. If you wanted to go harder to make fun of it.
And what I kind of dig it because I look at all of those political sketches kind of like live action cartoons, like political cartoons that would be in newspapers. Because it's like that every day they have to write these political cartoons making fun of what's going on politically. Yeah. And so it's almost like SNL's doing that like weekly. Yeah. So it's like a live action version of it. But
he killed it with Gumby though. That was my favorite one.
Yeah, I'm about to tell you that was the thing we kind of skipped over.
No, he's good. Just get to it.
Yeah, we get into the weekend update.
Gumby was the character of the night. Like
that's what everyone keeps saying. I think Mr. Rogers had Gumby. That's just for me though. Gumby was so shocking. You didn't know it was gonna come out. He literally said coon.
Coon boy. He called himself coon boy though. He made fun of himself.
I'm a coon boy.
Eddie Murphy, the coon boy. Like he used all the shocking words because and that's I had to explain to certain characters. The black they didn't understand that he was an old wasp Jew. And I don't think some people understand what Gumby was. And to those who didn't, Gumby, there was a clay animation with Gumby and these other characters. And what
Eddie did.
But what Eddie was Gumby was the actor when the cameras weren't rolling. So this is if Gumby had a personality, he would be this old wasp Jew who from the late 70s, whatever, who's an old-timey guy, but he's a diva and he thinks the world orbits around him. So that's like his character, and he has old little racist ways about him and prejudices, but because he's a working Hollywood guy who happens to be Gumby. And
which back in the days, like I had cats who was around though that time. The Gumby sketches used to rip.
Yeah. He was. I was watching old Gumby today. Yeah, him calling, but when he called Colin Jost the first time, Trailer Boy, like, and then Headshot. He called him Headshot.
You know what's funny?
And he said the two of y'all I got more personality in Velcro or something like that, like the Velcro in my shoe.
I got more personality than Velcro in my shoe.
Yeah.
What's funny about that? When he came up with Gumby, he had to be like 1920.
Yep.
That's such a sketch that a kid would come up with because it was like you was just watching this a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like no adult could have thought about that perspective on Gumby.
And which makes him more even. That's why he's even more incredible because it's like this dude carried a primetime sketch iconic show from the ages of like 20 to 23.
Like 19 and
1923. And he was the center of the epicenter of it. New characters, impressions, original stuff. And he was holding down the show pretty much every week for about 2-3 years.
But that was I don't want to say spiritual, but that was the underlying thing I was seeing where I was just kind of like, because when I watched the SNL sketches of Eddie, I knew what he became. You get what I'm saying? And it wasn't live and it wasn't fresh. It was just like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah.
But when you're watching it live and he's staring down the barrel of the camera lens.
And these other actors who's working off of him.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like I see exactly because you don't know what's happening next. It's live television. You don't know where the joke
You
is
don't
gonna
know
go,
where it's going,
and
boy.
he's so entertaining. It's just kind of like I'm seeing like
You can't take your eyes off him,
you
man.
can't take your eyes off. I can see he's always been that guy. Like the opening of Delirious, where he's like
Uh-huh.
farting and stuff in front of. That's probably who he was as a kid. He like the family would get together and Eddie would be the entertainment.
That's it.
And Charlie's right now probably was watching this episode just kind of like old
Times,
times.
Eddie. We
Just
just
like
go
old
right there.
times.
Yeah. It made me like you killed them niggas, man.
Remember Thanksgiving in '74.
It was me, Eddie. No, I think
Vernon.
so. We finally got to see a live Eddie episode. What it's like when you're seeing Eddie work and get his timing and his rhythm. Didn't miss a fucking beat. Like,
Didn't miss a
and
beat.
Chris Redd is great. Shout outs to Chris Redd, Kenan
Yeah.
Thompson, sketch legend.
Sketch legend.
Which we'll get into the last part about the whole Eddie show. McKinnon, Maya
McKinnon.
Rudolph.
Yeah, Maya came back and did
came
some
back.
some boss work.
Shout outs to Ego. What's her last name?
Egan Nwandin.
And Nwanda, she was in a couple of sketches with Eddie.
Yeah, she held it down. UCB.
You know, the working on the week. Eddie used to also do weekend updates with whoever the two people were at the time, the anchors. And
Who was it at the time? It wasn't Pisco.
and he had Che and Colin Jost rolling.
He did. Colin couldn't hold it.
He couldn't hold himself.
I mean, that was the other thing too. Is that like the beauty of a show like that is that you could laugh in the middle of the sketch and there's no retake. You just seeing people try to keep their shit together.
And that was great.
And with Eddie, that was probably one of the most authentic ones I've seen. Where it's just kind of like, yo,
Yeah.
he literally is like he's cracking. He's some of the funniest minds in the game. He's cracking them up.
He's having a hard. They're having a hard time keeping up with him.
And they do this shit every week.
They do this shit every
Colin
week.
and Che do this every week, so they know what they're getting ready to do, but they can't keep it together because it's probably surreal for them.
Yeah, it's super surreal. So, yeah, and then I think we get into the last part. I mean, he came out with a great monologue. I love that he just gave you a couple jokes. He had a little Cosby dig and talk about family and stuff like that. And then he gets into it, and then he has Chris Rock, Chappelle, Tracy Morgan, and then Kenan Thompson. They all get on stage together and they trade off little jokes, and they had like a little recurring joke about a sketch they wrote. And Eddie just kind of worked off of them, and I mean, yeah, it was great. Like, you got a couple of little bit of a stand-up. You got a glimpse of what he could do as a stand-up for like 2-3 minutes, and then when the cameos came out, and it just was like, damn, this is an iconic moment. Just seeing like that picture's been getting shared all day because it's like 3 or 4 or 5 of them legends or whatever.
Yeah, all I want.
And all of them are titans in comedy in general, but sketch in their own right. Like, you know, Chappelle with the sketch show, the Chappelle show. You got Kenan, all that.
And
Teenage
SNL.
sketch and longest SNL alum. Chris Rock, he was on SNL, then the Chris Rock show.
That's right.
And, you know, other stuff that he's produced
then
over the years.
Tracy's-
Tracy's an SNL alum.
I would say in terms of black guys, because Eddie's obviously the top black performer ever to be on SNL, if
Yeah.
not the top performer ever.
Yeah.
Probably number 2 is Kenan. Tracy's is a shoo-in for 3.
As far as as memorable castmate on SNL, black castmate.
Remember, I'm not talking about what they done. Like in terms of being
When
on
they
the
were
show.
on the show, they were on the show.
Yeah, Tracy's run was like pretty good. Like
Yeah,
they
he
always
did
made
7
sure.
years. Yeah, and
They
he
always
got
made sure to feature him.
he got good originals off. He had some originals.
Yeah, Brian Fellows. You get what I'm saying? Like he got like
The Puerto Rican space dude. I forgot what his name.
I know you're talking about.
Astro.
I know exactly you're talking about. I'm thinking of the sketch with the suit on.
Yeah,
and
I
shit.
can't remember his character name, but yeah, I mean Tracy
Tracy had a good run,
Tracy
and he
had a
was
good
on there
run.
with some Titans. He was on there with Tina and Will.
Farrell and Fallon and Mount, you know, yeah. So Tracy's definitely up there, top 5 in the SNL pedigree, and you know,
It's tough, yeah, because then you got Tim Meadows, who's also really good.
yeah. Tim
around
Meadows
the same time.
he was a long time too. He
He
was
was
he was before Trey. He was early mid '90s till like about 2000. So he actually was
Yeah.
on.
He was on it for Tracy and Chris.
Yeah, Tracy and Chris's run.
Yeah, when we was in high school, we did there was a sketch that Tim Meadows did with Chris Rock as his father and Tracy Morgan as the grandfather. And basically the idea was that Tim Meadows went to college and he kept using big words, and the father and the grandfather didn't know how to read, so they kept getting mad at him for using words that they thought was cuss words.
Right.
And so we did that sketch in high school at this thing we did.
I like reenacted it.
We reenacted. We just took the sketch and just put it up, and it
Right.
was I played the Chris Rock role. My boy, who was like way more like needed than me, he did the Tim Meadows role, and I had my boy Twan play Tracy, because Tracy doesn't do much in it except for like at the end he has this funny ass beat with like there's like a bowl punch. It's like it's a welcome home party, and instead of like just putting it in the cup, he like splashes all over his face.
Nah, Tracy. I mean, yeah, I'd have to look up the old Tracy stuff, but I do. Tracy was my generation, like watching as a
Yeah.
kid. Like you remember Tracy Morgan, like he was the guy. At least his last 3 years for sure on SNL. Like he was definitely more feature player his first couple years, but then when he started getting his shine in like 2000, 99, 2000, he started coming into his own before he went on and yeah. I mean, it was great seeing them all on stage together, just rocking. Yeah, they all just legends in their own right.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah. I mean, Eddie put on a great show. We had a great memory, a great moment, just as a people, as a community, as a village, just seeing greatness on the screen. And he delivered, man. It was a great episode. Even if you didn't think all the sketches were bangers, more than half of them were really good. And he did a lot more fan. Some people have comics I talked to. They felt like he was a little bit more fan service with doing too many characters. They wish he would have veered off and really worked harder at doing more original stuff or just like current thingies and experimented more. But I mean, with him doing this now, I mean, you never know. Maybe he does. Maybe he comes back again. You never know.
Yeah.
He could. You always could. Now he could see it's like maybe if I want to do this like once every 2 years, 3 years, and maybe then we'll get that where we see him kind of like play more the next time he comes if he ever comes back.
Yeah, I mean, I think
You never know at this point now.
the thing is we don't know what all the sketches was on the table. Like when they
That's
be
true,
going,
too.
they'll have like at the Wednesday meeting when they figuring out which sketches are. It's either Wednesday or Thursday where they have figured out which sketches they're gonna go rehearse on the tape.
Yeah.
They have like 80 sketches written.
Wow, they wrote a lot.
They got a lot of writers and like a lot of the
Oh, yeah,
cast
that's true.
writes.
There's a lot of writers. I be
And it's
thinking
like-
about it like it's the same room as the cornbread room. So I'm
Nah,
like, damn,
it's
how
way
they-
more of them. It's like
Yeah.
20, 15 to 20 people probably plus the cast.
And it's like 6 of us.
And they got 3 head writers, so it's like you
Yeah,
know.
Che is a head writer. Shout out to Che.
Yeah, Che's the head writer for SNL, which is huge. I think he's the first black head writer.
Yeah.
And so it's like they have a way of doing it, and then like they're there all day when they're writing those sketches and all night.
Yeah.
So it's almost like
Would you still
The
do SNL at
concept
this
is-
point?
I would love to. I would love to do something with SNL. I mean, whether it be like being on it as like a writer or a cast member,
director.
or just coming back to host it at one point or something.
I think this made me feel like, I think I'd still want to do SNL as a performer. Like
Yeah, it'd be a challenge.
it'd be, man. I mean,
That's the thing about it. It's the biggest challenge I think
yeah,
in comedy
still.
still.
Yeah,
And that's the thing about it. It's
I like
it's
how he said it's the Harvard for comedians. It's like
Yeah.
a college for comedians.
But that's the thing about it too, is like because they all you don't know who these people are before they get on it. And when they get on it, this is your chance to get to know them,
Right.
so that when they go on and do other things,
You always have that allegiance. And anybody who does SNL, whether you're on a year, 2 years, 4 years, 8 years,
it's a win.
you work forever.
Yeah, you work forever because you know everybody in comedy.
Yeah.
Everybody comes by and see what you're doing, and it's kind of. I think they've done better in the past few years too, of everybody having something to do when they get out.
Yeah, I think so too. And with social media, that helps you too.
Social media helps.
Because like maybe if you're a feature player or whatever like that, even for a couple years that you're there, you're in tag.
know everybody.
You're in the mentions. You're in just
Yeah.
the wave of stuff. You're always a part of what's going on. So it's just like
Well, I feel like because like there's a lot of cats in the graveyard of Hollywood who are SNL.
yeah.
Up until probably like Fred Armisen in the class. It's just a good fraternity.
Yeah,
like
it's
if
a
you're not
great
an
fraternity.
asshole, people gonna take care of you if you come from that tree.
Facts. One more time. You should definitely watch it. All the clips, the sketches is on YouTube. The Elf sketch was very good too. That was the closing sketch. I thought that was a good one too. So let's move on, man. So it's the holiday season, right?
Wait, one more thing.
One more thing? Okay.
Before,
Go ahead.
I don't know. The one thing Eddie made me realize, like, I don't know if we'll ever get somebody else on that show who could demand that much attention from like the entire cast.
From the cast, like to be like you guys have to orbit around him.
That
Nah,
is
there's
you
nobody
have
bigger.
to, I think, but just not
On
even that you have to,
a
just like
comedian.
somebody who you naturally like. There were times where I was just like, what is Eddie doing? And I feel like,
Really, you were studying in that way. You would take
yeah,
okay.
and I think that was the thing because like that cast, the cast they got now is fantastic, and it's no slight against them, but it's just like his gift is so naturally that your eyes just want to see what the heck he's doing, and he's always on, and like I don't remember seeing him break like at all. Like, he's really in it.
He's locked in, man. When he's locked in, man, I mean, just like his pausing, his and
He's
the
a
way he
really
uses his
good
eyes,
performer,
when he
yeah.
needs to yell, when he needs to take it down and out, when he
Right, that's why he can yell for like the Elf
And be
sketch is
funny.
hilarious. He's yelling the whole time, and it's fucking hilarious.
and yelling can sometimes really fall on deaf ears and really just fall flat. Like you're just
Right.
doing it because you feel like you got to do it. But he knows how to make sure his yells have a purpose and have something funny to it, or it builds to something really good, paying off. Yeah, He's, oh man.
Like literally, he's somebody that when he's gone, I would love it if they was like, let's crack this thing open and try to study. How do you get?
What's in his brain? What does he have? What motivates those choices or whatever? But he's so magnetic, man. Yeah, like I was just like lead. You're leading every sketch, and you pretty much command it, and it works. And it doesn't. You don't want to really. Yeah, you don't. Everybody else who did their little joke off it was cool, but it was like, what's Eddie about to do?
What's he about to do? Was it something you really don't see a lot at all?
The closest I think who challenged him in terms of keeping up with, I think Maya Rudolph. She was the only one I felt, in my opinion, on a sketch that kind of like was there. But even though that sketch was an ensemble thing, she had a lot of like 1 and 2 with him. So I felt like she was the only one that kind of held her up. Like Mikey Day, shout out to Mikey Day. He was from Wildin', and seeing him wilding out to SNL.
I think Mikey probably had a sketch or 2 that he wrote too. Because Mikey understands black comedy. He's a really good writer. So
yeah, he's in tune. And
he had like he was in 2 or 3 of them.
He was in the Family one. He was in the Elf one.
And he was in
Mr. Robinson.
Mr. Robinson. Yeah, he was. And they got a lot of white dudes.
They got a lot of
white
dudes. See that much white. There wasn't that much white. But Mikey was used a lot, and there wasn't that much white in Eddie's sketches. Because Gumby was an update, so Josh, okay. And that's really more of the character appearing. That's not an actual sketch. The baking one probably had a couple white people in there.
Yeah, they had a couple. And Mikey was in that too.
Mikey was in that. Yeah, Mikey was shining. Mikey was eating.
Mikey was eating this Eddie episode. And I'm like, damn, Beck is not. That's probably why they put Beck in the opening. I was like, because Beck is not eating in this Eddie episode.
Yeah. The Black Jeopardy. Nope, nobody there. And Masked Singer maybe they had. No, because Chris Rose was the host. They had somebody do Robin Thicke.
Yeah, that was that may have been Beck. I think Beck may have did Robin Thicke.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
I don't remember seeing Kyle though. No, Kyle was in the cake episode.
Okay. Yeah, he had the penis cake thing, right, with Cinderella. Yeah, that was funny. He was the only one. He got his own shit off and like.
Well, because Kyle is just so weird. It's like no matter what, he's gonna do some weird shit that just works.
All right, let's wrap it up. Anything last final thoughts?
That's it.
All right. Go watch Eddie on YouTube or Hulu. It's great. If anybody who wants to do comedy, especially sketch, that's what you need to watch. Look at it as a template. Watch his old shit, then watch that and fall in love like we did. Okay, so it's Christmas time.
Christmas time
in Hollis, Queens. Mama's cooking chicken and collard greens. Yeah. Oh, shout outs to Run DMC. It's Christmas time. Everybody's gonna be laid up with their family. You watching holiday movies. So I thought it'd only be right. Usually we. Shout out to BT Kingsley. I always love a good top 5 discussion, or even just a discussion of putting these things out for whatever the subject is. So today we're gonna go through some of our favorite Christmas movies, some classic ones. Which ones do you connect to the most, and there's a challenge really too, because with Christmas movies, like I said, every year you're gonna get some Christmas movies. Some ones on the big screen, some TV holiday movies from that's on BET, that's on Hallmark, that's on whatever. TV show's gonna do their Christmas episode, so we can kind of break it up and divvy up how you want to start.
Yeah, I think so. Should we figure out what the top 5 is? Because I started thinking of a top 5, but I was like, I kind of just got a list of something I really liked, and I think if we did a combined top 5.
All right, so I'm gonna read out some of the classic ones. I had somebody give me some Christmas movies. I'm giving the ones that I feel like are classics to my favorites, my personal favorites.
Yeah.
Go ahead, but let me hear what you got.
All right, so this is what Brother Reed got. I got Home Alone 1 and 2. Friday After Next.
That's technically a Christmas movie. Yeah.
A Christmas Story.
I've never seen Christmas Story.
Well, you ain't never tried to shoot your eye out with a BB gun?
I've seen that clip with the little boy and the nerd, and I used to always come on.
What about when the kid got his tongue stuck on the icicle?
I've seen those scenes.
Yeah, so this school in Queens my mother used to teach at PS 223 in Southside Jamaica.
Yeah.
And they had like one of those fences that went around in a circle, and it used to sickle up like that. When I was a kid, I used to always try to like lick it enough
and see what happens.
Because that scene from A Christmas Story, but also the scene from Dumb and Dumber. And one time it got stuck in there for like all of 3 seconds, and I was like scared, and I pulled off and was bleeding.
Oh. So you definitely tried to imitate art, imitating life right there.
Life
imitating art in that case.
So Jingle All the Way.
Oh yeah, that's Arnold and Sinbad. Shout out, Sinbad got a classic up in there.
Sinbad got a classic up in there.
Jingle All the Way.
What a Wonderful Life.
I don't remember that. Who's in that?
That was that's like 30s and 40s, man. You talking about?
Okay, that's classic stuff.
Yeah, I about to say James. It's not James Cagney. It's North by Northwest.
Okay.
Man, Shane. His name's gonna come to me in a second. I smoked a little bit today. I got Gremlins. Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
I never seen Gremlins.
You never seen Gremlins?
Nah.
Tripping, bro. Nightmare Before Christmas, the Tim Burton animation film.
That's okay. I got that in there. Not because I like it, but somebody who I had sent me some movies fucks with it.
Jimmy Stewart was the lead character
But that's a classic though. You should check
What
that
a
out.
Wonderful Life. Yeah.
Okay.
And last, I got Bad Santa.
That's with Tim Allen? No, that's with Bob Thornton.
You know what?
Billy
The
Bob
Santa
Thornton.
Claus. I put the Santa Claus in there too.
That was a Tim Allen one?
Yeah.
That was a good one, right?
I fucked with the Santa Claus.
Okay. So I'm gonna read some of the ones that my girl sent me because she's a Christmas junkie, so she definitely has aware of those classics. She told me about the Grinch.
Oh,
I believe the Jim Carrey
The Jim
one.
Carrey one. I like the cartoon better than the Jim Carrey one.
Okay, I didn't see either, so I'll take. But I judge both of them. We're pretty good in their own ways.
Yeah.
The Polar Express.
Polar Express.
I didn't see that one. That's good.
Yo, we used to have Polar Express parties in my elementary school. That shit was lit.
That's how dope that was.
Cause they had a book. The movie came later. It was like they had a book, and then they had like an animated kind of thing. And then Tom Hanks did the CGI shit with Rob Zemeckis.
I remember that. He was a train conductor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember that poster, but I never saw it. She was Miracle on 34th Street.
That's another classic. Yeah, they got two of them shits. They got the 1934 one, and then they got the one in the 90s.
Okay. A Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah, it was Scrooge. That shit was dope.
Yeah. All right. So those are hers, and these are the ones that
I saw a Christmas Carol at Madison Square Garden when I was in elementary school.
I think I saw a Christmas Carol too.
Yeah, that was like a New York City public school. Like, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah. So these are some of the ones that I love. Yeah. Home Alone 1 and 2 goes hard. Die Hard.
Die Hard, yeah.
Die Hard.
That's definitely a Christmas
Shout outs
movie.
to Stephen and Mel because he pointed out that Die Hard is a Christmas movie to him.
It's just a Christmas movie in general.
Yeah. Well, it's a thing that came from his situation on Arrow.
I think you know what else is a Christmas movie? Lethal Weapon.
Yes, Lethal Weapon. So that could kind of go in there too.
Because
that's when he gets invited to stay with them. Lethal Weapon.
That movie.
You can't forget the action movies that are based around the holidays. Those are important. So you got Lethal Weapon. I got Best Man Holiday.
Best Man Holiday was a good
sequel
Christmas
to the
movie.
Best Man, but that was a really good holiday film. I fucked with Best Man. That had real tears in the theater for that, and they had some really good feel good moments and some funny shit. This Christmas, I like. Remember This Christmas? That was before, when Chris Brown was just the teenage heartthrob.
Yeah, I was thinking about This Christmas earlier.
And Regina King.
Because I definitely saw that movie in theaters with my family on Christmas Day.
Facts. Yeah.
But it's just not.
It's good. It's good. It holds up.
It's
Best Man Holiday is bigger than
Best Man Holiday is better than This Christmas. But I will throw This Christmas in there because it does have a sentimentality too.
For sure. Scrooge, the Bill Murray Scrooge.
Yeah, that one was great.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I think any of the Harry Potters when they go through like the holiday season because they always have like a part through the year.
Shane Black.
Christmas.
I
didn't see. Okay.
All his movies take place around Christmas. Shane Black.
Okay.
Like Last Boy Scout didn't, but that's one of his movies too.
Well, that came out in December also.
Yeah.
So that was themed around holidays. Yeah. So I think if for me personal favorites, the Home Alones, Best Man Holiday, Was Harry Potter count as holiday movies? Because they always came out around December.
Huh?
They're not really holiday movies, but they have the moments of the movie where it's centered around Christmas and, you see the trees and like
Which movie?
Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone, or in the early Harry Potter movies.
They're not Christmas movies, I guess.
But they go through the school year where there's Christmas.
Yeah, that's what because they're technically at a boarding school.
Right. So you always got those holiday moments in the movie. But if you compile them all together,
yeah, how lit would that have been to be like a boarding school kid when Harry Potter was in the streets?
Yeah.
How lit would it not have been to be a boarding school?
That would have been whack.
That would have been whack. Boarding school wasn't the shit.
Wasn't the shit, but they had powers and they had fucking magic.
They had powers. They had magic.
Magic got them through. But the Home Alone, Best Man Holiday, this Christmas.
Okay.
A couple of the ones that you mentioned too.
Well, I'll make a master list. So what are the ones you got written down there?
Okay, so I got you.
Miracle 34th.
Yeah. Nightmare Before Christmas.
I got that written. This Christmas.
The Polar Express. Those are must watches. The Grinch. Scrooge. You put Best Man.
Holiday. Nope.
We agreed on Lethal Weapon. And we said.
I think you also said Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard. Yeah, Miracle 34. This Christmas, Nightmare Before. Okay, so
I got everything.
Okay. Yeah, I think we got a good list.
Okay, so we're trying to decide a top 5 from here.
Yeah, let's do that from there. So if we put 5.
So we got, just to list them off for the audience, we got Home Alone.
Uh-huh.
Friday After Next.
Yeah.
A Christmas Story.
Uh-huh.
Jingle All the Way.
Man, I love Jingle.
What a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Gremlins. Bad Santa. Miracle on 34th Street. This Christmas. Polar Express. The Grinch.
Yep.
Scrooge.
Yep.
Best Man Holiday. Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Die Hard. So
a lot of them I haven't seen, so I have to have a trust and opinion. So there's a lot of them that are veered as classics, must watches.
Why do we want to make? Is this something that you should watch with your family over the holidays? Like, if you're a black person, you should watch these films, or should it just be like these are just the best Christmas movies?
I think we should do the best because it's hard to specify because they are, there are these black cast driven ones that are funnier to our culture, but then they are these classic ones.
Okay, so then let's talk about the black driven ones that we have here. We have Best Man Holiday.
Yeah.
We have
This Christmas.
Friday After Next and This Christmas.
Did you see the one that shout outs to Jean Ellie, the BET one that he was in last year, Throwback Holiday? Did you see
I did not see that.
I ain't seen it either.
I have not seen that. Let's talk about these three.
Okay.
Out of these three, I would more than likely put Friday After Next and possibly Best Man Holiday in the top 5. I wouldn't put This Christmas.
Nah, I agree.
So we keep Best Man Holiday.
Yeah, and Friday After Next, which is a really good Friday. Every Friday is really good.
Yeah, they're all good.
It's weird because at first it was like they were always running in a ghost of the Friday, but then as more time as we've gone by from it, they're all really funny and different from in their own way. Because Ice Cube did the brilliant thing of introducing different comedians in each one. And Friday was the Chris Tucker coming out party. Next Friday was the Mike Epps coming out party.
And then the last one was
Cat Williams coming out party.
Now it was brilliant and like they're really good films. So I'm gonna keep Friday After Next. Okay. So we got Home Alones.
1 or 2. Only one can go.
I usually like 2 because of New
I like
York.
2 because of New York.
So we're gonna keep Home Alone 2.
Yeah, we put first one, but 2 got you because it's New York.
And you never seen A Christmas Story, right?
It was probably when I was a kid. I can't really remember it. I couldn't tell you the movie. The plot.
Well, X out of Christmas Story because you haven't seen it.
All right.
We both seen Jingle All the Way. Let's come back to
Facts.
that. Have
Jingle
you
All
seen
the Way
What a Wonderful Life?
Nah.
So we'll X that out.
Is that the one with Mark Wahlberg and
No, that's the Jimmy Stewart one from the 30s.
Oh yeah.
Basically,
I might have seen that with my grandmother when I was a kid though, because she watches AMC.
Listen, you've seen What a Wonderful Life because everybody steals from it with basically like, I wish I was never born, and then they come and he's like, this is what happens if you was never born, which is basically a Christmas show, which is Scrooge.
And or the Ghost of Christmas, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you never seen The Nightmare Before Christmas, the animated film, Tim Burton?
Might have been real little.
I maxed that out.
Does Batman Returns count as Christmas?
Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. Yes.
Put that in there.
Yo, that may be top 5.
Batman Returns was lit.
Yo.
Okay.
Bad Santa you've seen.
Yeah, Bad Santa was hilarious.
You seen the Santa Claus?
With Tim Allen, yeah, that was funny.
Have you seen Miracle on 34th Street?
That's the one with the little kid with the glasses? And
no, that's the Christmas Story.
Oh, that's a Christmas Story.
Miracle
okay.
on 34th Street is when this girl has been talking to a mall Santa and she finds out he's actually really Santa.
I think I remember that one. It's been a long time since I've seen it though.
All right, would you put that in your top 5?
No.
All right, I'll take it out. So then we got Polar Express, The Grinch, Scrooge, Best Man Holiday, Lethal Weapon, and Die Hard.
I've seen the last 3.
Did you see Polar Express?
Nah.
Did you see The Grinch?
Nah.
You never even saw the cartoon?
I did see the cartoon. I don't remember it.
How are you gonna do a Christmas episode when you ain't seen half the Christmas movies?
I know.
I hate you. All right, so this is what we got to play with. We got Home Alone 2, Friday After Next, Jingle All the Way, Bad Santa, Batman Returns, The Santa Claus, Scrooge, Best Man Holiday, Lethal Weapon, and Die Hard.
Okay.
And we gotta try to choose a top 5 after.
I think we can balance it out. I think we could put 2 of the comedies.
Okay.
So
2 comedies.
Yeah.
2 straight up Christmas movies.
And maybe 1 of the action ones.
And maybe 1 action. Okay.
I think that's fair. That's a good balance.
All right, so out of the Christmas ones that you've seen Scrooge.
Okay. Yeah, I remember Scrooge with Bill Murray.
And Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, definitely remember Jingle All the Way. I loved.
And we seen the Santa Claus.
Yes.
So those are the 3. So we got Scrooge, the Santa Claus, and Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Jingle All the Way and.
Yo, Sinbad killed Jingle All the Way, man.
He killed that shit.
Was just
That's
funny.
definitely top 5.
Him and Arnold, they were.
So we both agree on that.
Yeah,
So,
and look, It's probably not better than the other ones as a film, but it's my fucking podcast and listen. This is what we love. So
Jingle All the Way is definitely top 5.
Jingle All the Way was a fun movie, man. The Turbo toy, it fucking
And it was actually about Christmas.
It was about Christmas. It's very.
And it was
Christmas
Sinbad
focused.
just being a good dad.
Sinbad was a good dad, but he was misunderstood.
He became the villain.
He became the villain,
and he was hilarious.
He was fucking hilarious.
All right, so Jingle All the Way was Sinbad.
Yeah.
So we got the Santa Claus and Scrooge.
Shout out to Sinbad.
I'm going towards a Santa Claus because I actually remember that more than Scrooge. But it's hard to vote against
Bill Murray.
But
Tim Allen's Santa Claus was big though. I do remember that because that was like his first movie outside of the Home Improvement. That's when he kind of ventured out and he did that one. That was a big hit. Paul, any thoughts? No, you could just talk. Scrooge or Santa Claus? You seen any of the, have you seen both?
Santa Claus.
Tim Allen?
Tim Allen?
Yeah.
What's Scrooge one?
That's with Bill Murray. Pretty much like the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, Future. Okay.
Scrooge is a good Bill Murray movie. I'm gonna go with the Santa Claus.
Let's go Santa Claus.
So we're gonna go with the Santa Claus.
We 90s kids, man.
Yeah.
Everything is losing out to the 90s.
What a nostalgia. That's when you really believe in all that shit.
That's true. And this is the
All right.
nostalgia of our generation.
So the comedies we got is Bad Santa, Friday After Next,
That's tough.
Best Man Holiday.
Okay. Home Alone 2 is in the list regardless, right? We put that in
And
the top
Home Alone
5.
2.
I think a Home Alone
Well,
should
fuck
be
it. Let's
in
put
there.
Home Alone
Home Alone is in there.
All right. So really, is
So what we got left? How many spots left?
we got 3 spots left. So
Okay.
it's like we could do 2 comedies and an action.
Okay. Or 2 action, 1 comedy. I think
Depending. All right. So let's just go through the comedies and the action. So the films we have last is Best Man Holiday,
Okay.
Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, Friday After Next, Bad Santa,
Oh, okay. So I didn't see.
Scrooge. I throw Scrooge back in there.
You throw Scrooge back in there.
Batman Returns.
Oh yeah. Damn. All right. Out of those 3 action ones, which one?
Out of the 3 actions, I'm going Batman Returns
Really? Why?
because it's the best film out of the 3.
Lethal Weapon though, the first one.
The first one was great, and Die Hard. I think the whole plot of it was him trying to get home for Christmas, and he gets caught up in this shit. Batman Returns isn't really a Christmas movie.
It was just in December where it was snowing in Gotham. I'll give the edge out to Lethal Weapon over those 2 other action ones, over Die Hard and Batman Returns. Because Lethal Weapons was like he was a lonely guy and he didn't have anywhere to go when him and Danny Glover are becoming partners, and then they finally like solve their mission and he gets to get invited to Christmas and just be around some family. Like it appeals on a deeper level. It appeals to what Christmas is about, which is not being alone in the holiday season.
Yeah.
That gets slept on. Plus, it's a great movie. Like, I don't think Batman Returns just has they use Christmas as a ploy, but I don't think it's not Christmas focused enough. It shouldn't be.
So you thinking Lethal Weapon?
I think it has more of the themes that tie to Christmas because it's like
it's
about
his family,
family,
and he doesn't have one. All right, so we'll put Lethal Weapon in there.
I would put Lethal Weapon in there.
Okay, so we got 4. We got one more.
So what are the 4 that's in there?
So we got Jingle All the Way.
Okay.
Santa Claus. Home Alone 2.
Is Santa Claus universally regarded as a great one, as a great movie, as a great Christmas movie?
I mean, for us, for 90s kids, yeah.
But what do you at the time too? What do you think? Like, if artistically speaking, back,
yeah,
like,
it made
it's
money.
It's up there. It's up there, right?
It made money and kids loved it. I mean, it was a type of film. It was a good look for Tim Allen.
Right.
Like it's one of Tim Allen's wins, with those type of films.
And he did more after that, but that was the big one.
Yeah.
All right. That's
Tim
fair
Allen had a wave in the 90s, dog.
Yeah,
He
his
had
wave
Jungle
was
the Jungle.
big. His wave was big.
He was a great dad.
Galaxy Quest was mad underrated.
In films.
Yeah.
That's what his lane was. Like Home Improvement worked with him being the dad, and then like
Last Man Standing. Yeah. Which is later. But okay, so all right, so we got one
so
spot
we
left.
got for comedies, we got Friday After Next, Best Man Holiday, and Bad Santa. Bad Santa, I want to take over Best Man Holiday, but I don't know if I could put Bad Santa over Friday After Next.
Okay, I think the funniest one is probably Bad Santa, and because of the originality of that.
It was so original, but it's so sad too.
It's a sad fucking movie. I feel good about when I watch Best Man Holiday. Like the ensemble shit was there. It was a sequel following a really good first movie. It still had heart in it, but it had a lot of funny moments. It was grown. It wasn't kiddie. Like I think we picked more. Well, outside of Lethal Weapon, the other ones are more kid friendly.
Yeah.
That's probably the most grown up of them. Outside of you know what I mean. I like the balance that it has of the grown up. It's funny. It's a little dirty because they do run their mouth, and it's black black family greatness. Like,
Right.
I'm putting Best Man Holiday.
Fuck, I'm going.
I teared up in the theater.
I'm gonna go Friday After Next.
Okay, that's fine.
Do we want to just have a tie for that one?
Yeah, we could do honorable six man. One of them can be the six man.
Friday,
I put Friday as the six man.
Best Man.
Yeah.
All right, it's your show. So Friday's the best. Is the sixth man.
Okay, that's pretty good.
That's a good five.
Any Christmas TV episodes you remember that come to mind from TV shows? What was some of the best Christmas episodes?
Fresh Prince always has some good ones. I feel like Martin has some good ones. I can't think of anything I've recently
Family Matters
watched.
has some good Christmas episodes.
The Rugrats had some always great holiday episodes. They had a Kwanzaa episode that was fire.
We watched that.
We watched that
Grown ass niggas
Passover.
watching Rugrats.
The Christmas episode was dope with Santa Claus.
Christmas episodes were never good for like your cartoon action hero shows because they always made it super cheesy. Like Power Rangers, their Christmas episodes was always trash. Ninja Turtles Christmas was always gonna be trash.
I also gotta say this too. Growing up, we didn't celebrate Christmas, but like I
In
knew
your family?
in our family we didn't celebrate Christmas.
Oh, we did it heavy in ours.
Yeah, see, but I love the holiday, but it just wasn't a we grew up Muslim and like we did Kwanzaa.
Man, I remember waking up, opening up your presents. I woke up at 4 or 5 a.m. and I remember my mom got me NFL Blitz, and I was playing Blitz at like 6 in the morning.
See?
And when they woke up, I was playing Blitz for like 3 hours, and then we got to open up presents. Like I used to always wake up early to get a video game or open up a present. That was fun.
I always had an envy of that because like I would see that in TV shows and in movies.
Yeah.
And like the whole idea of like the Christmas spirit, and so I don't know. Most of my shit is going to be stuff that I remember from that era.
So it wasn't pleasant.
Nah, it was pleasant to enjoy it like content wise.
Let me take out my charger.
Oh,
you got enough juice. You got enough juice.
I got all the juice.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we gotta get going. But yeah, let's final thoughts. Let's on Christmas as a whole. You know, even though we're older now, you know, it's not the same. But I think to enjoy Christmas as a kid, I think it's still amazing. Like I think about now. I'm now just thinking about like those at least a good 6 to age 11. You know, whatever 5 to 11. Those are some fun times, man. In the tree and and I didn't have a lot of family that I had to share with, like in terms of like. Big family with like 47 gifts being opened in exchanges. Really, most years me and my mom, my grandmother. A couple of times we had some relatives over, but yeah, I still dug Christmas, man. I still dug Christmas. You should definitely watch some holiday movies. You got a good list to go from. If you want to laugh, you got Friday After Next. You got Best Man Holiday. If you want to do something for the kids, you got Santa Claus. You got Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Sinbad killed it in Jingle All the Way.
Sinbad
It cannot be
crushed it.
stressed enough. Arnold was also on point. They work great off of each other. And you want to go classic. We have, what are the classic ones that made our list?
We got Miracle on 34th Street.
Miracle on 34th
A
Street.
Christmas Story.
Scrooge.
The Grinch. I think the cartoon Grinch from the 50s or 60s was the best one, even better than this recent one that Pharrell produced.
Oh, and Elf was an underrated one.
I
Elf didn't
forgot
make the
about
list
Elf.
with Will Ferrell. Elf was also.
That was a great Christmas movie.
Yeah, Elf was funny.
I like male adult comedians making Christmas movies.
It's time for a female though. It's more women. We need more women empowerment. We need more women empowerment.
I feel like
Christmas.
they've probably done it, but I don't know if we've gotten a classic one yet.
It's time. Listen, McCarthy. Somebody need to.
Yeah, there's one that's like actually fire because Elf was actually
Like, what if
fire.
Santa gets a heart attack, so his wife got to hand out
Mrs.
Christmas?
Claus?
Yo, we actually
Melissa
we
McCarthy.
just wrote a Christmas movie. We actually hold this. This is our idea. This was coming up on For the Culture Live.
For the Culture,
on
don't steal us
on
from For
this
the Culture.
idea.
Melissa McCarthy is Mrs. Claus.
Me and Rick got a script to write. So on that note, happy holidays, y'all. We'll come back soon with another list. Possibly we might see me again before the year's out. Rick, how can they follow you?
At Reek Speaks, follow at Cornbread Kitchen Comedy. Is it Cornbread Kitchen or CBK Comedy?
CBK Comedy on Twitter, and then Cornbread Kitchen on Instagram.
That's right. So follow us on the gram. We're going to be in the San Francisco Sketch Fest in San Francisco. So if you're up in the Frisco, come check
MLK
your boys.
weekend, January 18th. Hit us up for more info on that.
And we're also still doing the monthly show. So our next show is
January 19th. Yep,
At the
UCB.
UCB.
And the
Pull up.
Sanctum. Pull up. Nick of Comedy, at Nick of Comedy, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything. You know what it is. Happy holidays, y'all. Peace.
Peace.